What if you could become a millionaire without relying on a job, launching a business, or inheriting a single dollar? Because it's happened. More than once. Like the man who stumbled across a tiny rock that turned out to be worth over $3 million. Or the woman whose casual hobby of collecting domain names made her a fortune. This isn't about rags to riches. It's about falling into wealth in the most unexpected ways, and why some people strike gold while the rest of us walk right past it. This is the Money Compendium, where we uncover forgotten wealth secrets, millionaire habits, and financial history you've never heard before. Now get ready to hear about 10 people who became millionaires not from their job, business, or inheritance. Number 1. The $3 million rock in the field. In 1980, a humble farmer in China was plowing his land when he struck something odd. A rock that looked out of place. It was unusually smooth, slightly metallic, and heavy enough that it didn't feel like anything from Earth. Curious but unfazed, he brought it home and used it as a makeshift hammer for over 30 years. It became part of his daily life, propping open doors, cracking nuts, pounding nails. Decades later, a visiting geologist noticed the rock while touring the village. Within moments, he knew this wasn't just any rock, it was a meteorite. And not a common one either. It was rich in rare metals and of great scientific value. Word spread quickly. Within months, collectors and museums around the world were placing bids. Eventually, the rock was appraised at $3.2 million. The farmer had unknowingly been swinging a fortune around his workshop for decades. He'd never invested, never held a corporate job, never touched a stock portfolio. He just happened to live where the universe dropped a literal rock of gold. Number 2. The pizza domain Windfall. Chris Clark was a college student in the mid-1990s when the internet was still a wild west of opportunity. Hoping it helped his consulting firm land a deal with a pizza company, he spent $20 registering the domain name pizza.com. After his consulting firm closed down, he continued to hold the name thinking it might come in handy someday. But like most domain purchases of the era, it went nowhere. He let it sit and sit and sit for 14 years. Fast forward to 2008. By now, the internet was booming, and the pizza delivery industry was racing to stake digital territory. Out of curiosity, Chris decided to list the domain for sale. What followed shocked him. A bidding war erupted almost immediately. Major pizza chains, venture firms, and marketing agencies were all eager to own such a valuable slice of digital real estate. The final sale price? $2.6 million. For something he bought and did nothing with for years. No startup, no coding, no content. Just the right word, purchased at the right time, and the patience to hold it. Chris Clark became a millionaire, thanks to pizza and a little digital foresight. This is the definition of digital luck. But that's nothing compared to the man who forgot he bought Bitcoin. Number 3. The lost Bitcoin fortune. In 2009, a British IT worker named James Howells mined 8,000 Bitcoins on a whim. At the time, Bitcoin was less than a cent. Mining was easy and the concept felt like a game. He stored the digital wallet on an old laptop, eventually shoved it in a drawer, and moved on with life. Years later, during a house cleanup, James accidentally tossed the laptop into the trash. Only months afterward did he realize what he'd done, by which time Bitcoin had exploded past $1,000 per coin. Suddenly, the junked hard drive was worth $8 million. Today, with Bitcoin hovering around $50,000, those same coins would be worth over $400 million. Desperate, James tried to get permission to dig through the landfill where the device had been taken. The city refused, citing environmental risks and safety concerns. His fortune remains buried under layers of trash, unreachable, yet technically still his. James didn't create a crypto startup. He didn't trade. He didn't even hold. He forgot. A millionaire by mistake, with one of the strangest lost fortune stories of the digital age. He forgot his fortune. But the next millionaire simply forgot to check her attic for 30 years. Number 4. The $26 million attic painting. In a small town in northern France, an elderly woman was preparing to move into assisted living. While cleaning her attic, She noticed an old, dusty painting hanging above a hot plate. It had been there for decades. She nearly threw it out, assuming it was some mass-produced church replica. But on a whim, she called in an appraiser. The expert took one look and froze. What she'd found wasn't a replica. It was a lost work by Cimabue, a 13th century Italian painter considered a pioneer of the Renaissance. The painting, Christ Mocked, was one of only a handful of Cimabue's works known to exist. The piece sold at auction for $26.6 million, shattering records for early religious art. The woman had no interest in art, no understanding of its value, and no plan to sell it. The painting had survived wars, roof leaks, and neglect, only to make her a millionaire in her twilight years. Sometimes, history hides wealth in plain sight. And sometimes, wealth starts with something as simple as playing with Legos. Number 5. The Lego YouTuber. In 2020, amidst pandemic lockdowns and bored kids, a father in Michigan named Alex started recording Lego builds with his 2 sons. It was a bonding activity, nothing serious. He'd film time lapses of elaborate creations, add upbeat music, and upload them to YouTube. One day, a video titled Giant Lego City Build, 24 Hours, went unexpectedly viral. Within a week, the channel gained tens of thousands of subscribers. Ad revenue started trickling in. Then sponsorships. Then merchandise. Within a year, the hobby channel was earning over $15,000 per month. Alex quit his job. What started as a way to keep his kids entertained had become a 6-figure business, without ever planning for it. He never studied marketing, never optimized thumbnails, never chased trends. He just showed up, had fun, and let the algorithm do the rest. No strategy, no hustle, just a camera, some bricks, and a bit of fatherly fun. But our next millionaire didn't even build anything. She just sat on a beach. Remember, these aren't just stories. Each one reveals a hidden wealth tactic still working today. And if you thought those were wild, this next one makes money from literal trash. Number 6. The sea glass collector turned mogul. Some people scroll TikTok, others walk the beach. Robin Nagel, a beachcomber with a love for overlooked beauty, started collecting sea glass along the craggy shores of Maine. She found joy in the soft, frosted colors and smooth edges, the tiny treasures tossed ashore after decades tumbling through the sea. At first, she kept them in jars, labeling the locations and dates like a scientist of nostalgia. Then came the Instagram posts. People loved them. Collectors messaged her, asking to buy. She declined, but curiosity piqued. A small blog turned into a mini following. Then a jewelry maker offered her a licensing deal. The vibrant glass was cast into pendants, rings, and boutique earrings. The sea had done the polishing. She just found it. Within a few years, her sea glass became a 6-figure royalty stream. She didn't run ads, didn't open a storefront, just followed a strange passion and let the waves carry her into wealth. And if that seems small scale, wait until you hear about the man who found a national treasure in a thrift bin. Number 7. The $2 Declaration of Independence. In 1989, a man named Michael Sparks was browsing a dusty thrift shop in Nashville, Tennessee. Wedged between some old posters and broken frames was a yellowed copy of the Declaration of Independence. It looked aged, but not suspiciously so. More like old wallpaper than a valuable document. It cost $2.48. He bought it for the frame. Days later, something about the paper texture and font gnawed at him. He did a little research and learned there had been 200 official copies commissioned by John Quincy Adams in 1820. With heart pounding, he contacted an appraiser. Tests confirmed the impossible. It was one of the originals. The copy sold at auction for nearly $500,000. Michael didn't hunt antiques. He wasn't a historian. He just had a good eye and a little curiosity. In less than a week, a random purchase turned him from browser to accidental auction star, from a frame to a fortune. But what if your pet inherited millions and took you with them? Number 8. The cat with a $13 million inheritance. Maria Assunta had no children. The Italian heiress had amassed a fortune through real estate, but lived a quiet, reclusive life in Rome. In 2011, at the age of 94, she passed away. Her entire $13 million estate left to her beloved cat, Tommaso. Tommaso had been a stray, a scrappy alley cat she rescued from the streets. But he became her constant companion, and in her will, she named him sole heir. Since animals can't legally hold property, she appointed a trusted caretaker, her former nurse, to manage the cat's estate. And here's where things get wild. The caretaker, now charged with managing the cat's fortune, also became a millionaire. Her duties included overseeing real estate, managing investments, and of course, keeping Tommaso in the lap of luxury. Tommaso's net worth outpaced many CEOs, and all he did was purr in the right house. But if you think that's absurd, the next story features a man who became world famous just for looking like he was in pain. We've seen people get rich off sea glass, old documents, and forgotten domains. But what happens when your face becomes a meme? The next story turns embarrassment into empire. Number 9. The meme that made millions. Andras Arato was a retired Hungarian engineer who posed for stock photos in his 60s, never expecting anything to come of it. One photo, with a pained smile and coffee cup in hand, went viral under the nickname Hide the Pain Herald. Instead of recoiling, Andras embraced the meme. He launched a personal brand, started appearing at tech conferences, and struck brand deals with major companies. A licensing agency handled his image rights. He wrote a memoir. He became a celebrity in the least expected way, and cashed in. From harmless modeling gig to global phenomenon, Andras made more in retirement than most do in their prime careers. No business plan, no grind. Just a face the internet couldn't stop sharing. From meme to millionaire. But the final story might top them all. A clerical error that made someone rich, who then disappeared. Number 10. The paycheck that was a fortune. In 2012, an anonymous worker in Chile received their usual paycheck, except it wasn't usual. Instead of $545, the deposit showed $180,000. They contacted HR. HR begged for it back. The employee promised to return the funds and never showed up again. News reports surfaced that he had quietly resigned and vanished, using the money to relocate, purchase land, and begin building wealth through smart, low-risk real estate investments. Attempts to recover the funds failed. He was gone. No startup, no job, just a banking error and quick action. The man is still at large. Somewhere in Chile, a quiet millionaire lives off interest and rental checks, built from a single mistaken keystroke. So what do all these people have in common? They didn't hustle. They didn't grind. They didn't build massive companies or inherit wealth from their family. They were in the right place at the right time and had the instincts or the courage to recognize it. Some spotted treasure in trash. Others had fortune fall into their lap, but they all had one thing in common. They noticed. When the universe whispered, they listened. And sometimes that's enough. Not because of their job, not because of their business, and not because of their family's wealth, just luck and timing. But the next video? It's even stranger than this one.